Now, this is actually something pretty cool in my opinion. This new Slate EV truck. I'm sure you've heard about it. Bezos backed this project up with, I do believe, $111 million or something like that in 2022. And now we actually have the truck here. So the cool thing about what I like about this is that it's such a bare bones EV truck. I mean, the name Slate, blank slate, is the base truck in its base configuration, and then you can add whatever you want onto this truck and customize it in ways that I don't think I've seen before. You can customize the taillight design, for example, to have whatever you want, or I think 4 different options. You can customize the light settings in the front, and you can customize the bumper to, you can even lift it up by 2 inches. The wheels and tires, you can add some wrap onto this. You can customize the interior, and we have crank windows, something that we haven't seen in a very long time in the brand new car. So I really like what's going on here with this Slate. I'm a fan. However, there are a couple of things from the drivetrain that makes it maybe feel more like a gimmick than an actual truck. We're going to talk more about that when we talk about the spec and tech, which we can jump in and do right now. And then we're going to jump into Photoshop as well. I'm going to show you this. First of all, before we talk about the spec and tech, just check this out here. How much you can customize this. First of all, I do like the configurator that we have here. So we have body styles. You can even turn it into an SUV, or even have like almost like a fastback design for the SUV shell. And I think this looks very cool. I mean, check this out. So you can turn it from a truck into whatever you want here. If you want to have more of a boxy design, I do think this looks cool as well. Then you have starter packs here. We can go in and check these out. You can lift it up. You can see we have different wheels and tires here, different graphics, of course. I like this one. I think this one looks pretty cool, like a race car version of the truck itself. You can see just how many different variants we have here, looking very, very nice. And if you have the original steel plate wheels, you can actually add some wrap onto the wheels themselves. And you can do the partial wrap like this, look very strange. Maybe not the style that I would prefer here, but as you can see, wheels and tires, we can go in and change that as well. We can change wheel style to have them like this, or maybe want to have them be white or something like that, different graphics for this. So you can do all of this yourself, or you can have the team from Slate come out to you, or maybe they do it in a specific location, I don't know. But you can have the team do it for you, or if you want to do it yourself, it seems to be pretty easy to do it yourself, all of these changes. And you can see the different bumpers. You can have a spare wheel. If you want to have that, you can have roof rails. I think it's so cool. I want to show you this as well. So the taillight design here, you can change up the taillight design to have them be red like this. You can have them be white. You can have them be in this design with some different designs in there, or you can have it in this design, so it's more pixelated design. So a lot of customizations options, and I don't think I've ever seen this before. This means you can really make this yours when it comes to the design of this. You can even have a more rugged front end here with sort of lights inside of the bumper down here. Looks like a proper skid plate. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. Kind of want to remove it. But it's just cool that you can actually do this. So let's check out what this is all about. So 2027 Slate Truck EV will be very customizable and priced under $28,000. The Slate Truck is a bare bones EV that is expected to cost a little under $27,500, which can drop to less than $20,000 with the federal EV tax credit included. An available accessory package allows buyers to turn the Slate into an SUV. I'm not sure if I wanted to have it in an SUV. I think the truck looks pretty cool, but of course, if you want to have more people inside of this vehicle, you kind of want to turn it into an SUV, because that also brings seats, of course, in the rear end. The deliveries are due to start at the end of 2026 from a repurposed plant in the U.S. Midwest, with the entry model packing a manufacturer estimated driving range of around 150 miles. So the the range here is not the best, and that makes me wonder, what exactly is this truck going to be for? Who specifically is the buyer for this truck? That is what I'm having a little bit of a hard time coming up with because of the range, and also that we don't have all-wheel drive. It's actually just a rear-mounted motor on this vehicle. So Slate's history goes back to 2022 when it started as a project within Rebuild, a manufacturing conglomerate founded by Jeff Wilke, the former CEO of Amazon Worldwide, is CEO of Amazon. Is a big shot in Amazon basically, and also a big shot in Canon Capital. And in 2023, Slate secured more than 111 million in funding from 16 investors, one of which was Jeff Bezos. Now, apart from the digital gauge cluster that also serves as a rear view camera display, power locks, cruise control, and a forward collision warning system with automated emergency braking, the truck offers little in the way of luxuries. And that is what I think is so refreshing to see here, because this is as basic as you can essentially make an EV today. You even have these roll-down windows. I love roll-down windows. I just think it has a certain charm to it. I think it has to do with just memories from my childhood. If you're older than, I would say, 30, you might remember roll-down windows and maybe have some memories with them as a kid like I do, and I think that is what brings back this warm feeling when I see this crank windows. You also have manually adjustable rear view mirrors. An audio or infotainment system is noticeably missing too. Instead, your cell phone or tablet serves these functions, with a dock for the former included and one for the latter available as an optional accessory, meaning that you can plug in your phone, and you also have an available Bluetooth speaker, I do believe, that you can have in here. That works. Everybody has a cell phone these days. Just plug it in the slot, and you have a nice little Bluetooth speaker. You don't have to blast 30 speakers inside of this thing. It doesn't need to have that, specifically not in this if you want to keep the cost down. So the brand claims more than 100 accessory items will be available when deliveries of the truck begins at the end of 2026. Ranging from power, you can get power windows. I would not want to have power windows in this, though. I love crank windows. You also have a 2-inch lift and a 1-inch lowering kit, which you can turn this into a street racer if you want to. Like the one I showed you, where it's just lower, you can make it into an off-road vehicle, add some all-terrain tires on here, and lift it up by 2 inches. I think it's so cool to see this. You can even turn it into an SUV with the SUV kit, and that adds a roof panel over the truck's stubby bed and a three across rear bench seat as well. Of course, they gotta have somewhere to sit. So the company allows customers to shun the standard 47 kilowatt hour pack for an accessory unit with a capacity of approximately 75 kilowatt hour, and this will give it 240 miles of range, which is a lot better than 150, of course. 150 mile range feels like you can just, dart around town, and that's it. You can't really take it too far out, because then you're going to have to charge all the time just to get there and then get back as well. So maximum charging speeds of up to 120 kilowatts, which is not the best, but still it's not the biggest battery pack either. So you have the truck here wears unpainted gray composite body panels to keep manufacturing costs down by foregoing a factory paint shop. Great, love to see it. Those looking for a truck with a bit more color can opt for the vinyl wrap. Stick with the standard 17-inch steel wheels, and the wrap option can extend to the Steely's flat faces as well. You can do whatever you want with the wheel design, and of course the accessory team has 17 or 20-inch wheels on hand if you want bigger wheels. I'm not sure if I would go off-road, if I would lower this 1 inch, or I would raise it up 2 inches. I'm not sure what would look cooler on this thing. You have, the truck is not big at all. It's 1.8 inches shorter than a Subaru Crosstrek. You do have a 1,000-pound towing capacity. Not sure how well that's going to go with this very reduced range. Probably not the best idea to tow with this thing, but you do have 1,433 pound of payload, and that is just 67 pounds short of the Ford Maverick's Best, for example. Now you do have the rear motor only in the rear end with 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. You can boost this up to, opting for the larger capacity battery adds 302 pounds to the bottom line, and also, of course, makes it a little quicker. The base one goes 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. Totally fine for me. Again, like 8 seconds is fine. It doesn't need to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. This is what I like about this, that this does not try to be so many things all at once. It's just a basic clean blank slate, as they call it themselves, truck, and you can do whatever you want with it when it comes to customization. So Slate has no plans to offer the truck with an additional motor in the front to support all-wheel drive, and that is something that I think they probably should consider. Because if you can lift it with 2 inches, you can add the 240-mile battery pack. This could be something that you kind of want to take out on some, decent trails, not too aggressive trails, but just take it out in the woods, have some fun with it. And for that reason, I think this should consider, adding all-wheel drive to this with a motor in the front end. And I don't know how much that extra that would cost, but I think that would be make it into a more appealing option, at least for me, when I think about what this could be used for and who actually is the buyer for this. In case you missed it, my 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. So with that said, let's jump into Photoshop here and have a look at this design. This is one design that they had ready-made in the configurator that I thought looked very, very cool. Now, the cool thing about it, look at the design here. Vehicles I want to see more of, where it's just a stripped-down, basic design of what it is. The design is not exactly beautiful. It's a very product designy, styling for this, but it works. It's a very functional looking design, and I love to see when cars are purpose built like this. This one being the purpose for this is to be as cheap as possible, and if you want to add more things to it, you can, but you can also get it as the base blank slate truck for just under $28,000, which again feels maybe a little still expensive for this, for what it is, without any of the accessories whatsoever. Here you can see I added the roof rails up here as an option, and we also have a very tight cabin. As I said, you can add the SUV shape for this if you want to. You can design whatever you want on the sides here as well, and this sits lower, 1 inch lower. You can raise it up by 2 inches if you want to, change out the wheels and tires to have them be more off-road ready. And the design of this overall, I do like the design of it. It just looks pretty basic, pretty friendly, and not too aggressive in the front end. That is not something we want to have anyway. We have some lights, accessory lights here, and this looks to be some LED lighting for the headlight unit right there. Maybe fog lights down here that you can add as an option. Looking at the side view, very tight design, very short design as well. I do like the cladding that goes around here. This looks still, even though it's so cheap, the design and the surfacing, for example, how this surface goes in and bends inwards right before it meets the plastic, stuff like that makes it feel like a pretty high quality design when you look at the small details like that. And I hope the panels and everything is properly fitted as well. We don't want to see too big panel gaps and stuff like that. Even if it's a cheap truck in 2025, we still need to get the panel gaps correct in today's day and age, even if it's a brand new company. The proportions clearly, as you can see, if you want to sketch a truck, this is one very good example of how you can start sketching this. With one box right here, you have the second box being the greenhouse right here, and then of course the third box being the bed frame here. I actually really like the wheel design here. I think these wheels, the styling for them just look very, very cool. Looking at the rear end before I look at the interior, same thing here. It's just all about simplicity, nothing complex. Regular handle to just fold down the bed, nothing crazy going on. We don't have the headlight or taillights sticking into the tailgate because that would add a lot of cost, so they sit on the outside here. You can customize these as I showed you. You can customize the lower bumper here as well to have it be a little bit more off-road worthy, and even add a spare tire back here if you want to have that. It's a cool idea, and I really hope they will sell a lot of these, because this is an idea that, as I said, I really haven't heard of before, to have a vehicle being this customizable. It's just pretty crazy to think about. And looking at the interior, I really don't have any complaints about this, because, as I said, Could it be a little bit more organic, a little bit automotive, a little bit more warm when you're stepping in here? Yeah, for sure. But we have one single climate setting here. You have the temp knob, you have the you have the fan speed, and you have where you want the air to blow out from. And this reminds me of cars from the 90s, mid 90s, which had the exact same controls. I think it's just refreshing to see that, and that we don't have a big, 20-inch right up here on the dash, for example. It sticks up something like this. We don't even have a screen here. If you want to, you can plug in your iPad here and also plug in your phone, and that's about it. You do have a small gauge cluster here that serves as all the information you need for the safety features, the speed, and so on. Reverse camera also pops up in this screen right here, and that's about it. Seats looks pretty comfortable. You have a nice little armrest here in the middle, cup holders, and nothing else. In this case, it looks like we do have, do we have the crank windows? I can't really tell, because there is an option for this to have the windows actually be electronic up and down. But personally, as I said, I would not choose that at all. So overall, I think it's a very, very cool idea, and I wish them all the best. I really hope we're going to see a lot of these on the roads, because it's going to be fun to see some splashes of color and also see what people actually do with this, because you can have the team from Slate come out and wrap it in whatever color combination you want, and also switch out the wheels, the bumpers, front and rear, the taillights, make it into an SUV, even if you don't prefer to have it as a truck. It's some crazy, wild ideas, and I love to see it. And also the price point, that it's such a basic vehicle. I don't know, but for some reason, base specs and base vehicles is something that has always appealed to me for some reason. I don't know why exactly. I don't know. I think it's because we have so much technology today that seeing something this basic just feels like something that is actually more futuristic than most of the cars that we see today.